All right, in this video, we're going to add a deck to our house. If you have a deck, um, yeah, it's similar to like creating the floor. That's actually what we're going to do. Is we're going to create a floor um, in our floor plan, but it'll be our deck. So we can go to our level 1 floor plan and go to your architecture tab and floor architectural. And let's just use this wood joist 10-inch wood finish for our deck. I have a outline here of where my deck is supposed to be, and you just can just draw the boundary lines just like we typically did for our floor. We just go all the way around our perimeter of our house. And just continue all the way around until you get the outline of the deck that you want. And I'm actually going to open my other one so I can figure out exactly what the dimensions should be. And I'm going to don't attach the walls. Now we've got our deck. Let's see. I had made a deck before my other project. I kind of have two projects here. One that's that I use kind of like to show the demonstrations, and then another one that I have that I can do work on. So let me see. So my other one I use this the same thing, that wood joist floor. I'm gonna just copy this one so that I can have the exact same profile, so I don't have to do that. If you have a project open in the same project open, then you can just um, copy straight across. So let me do that. So here's the deck that I just drew. I just delete that and go up to modify, paste, align to current view, and that'll just put the deck with the same profile that I had. But essentially, you just draw the deck that you want with the floor. I'm also going to, so in this view, I actually turned off the direction of the deck. So I'm going to go to here, floors. So I'm going to go to the visibility graphics overrides for this view. And in floors, I had overridden it so that it wouldn't show the pattern. I'm just going to uncheck those and make those visible, but before I had them checked so that you wouldn't see it when I was printed my floor plan. So if I hit those, then you can see now that I can see the floor pattern of the deck that I drew. So, and after I drew my deck, or you can do this before, if you edit the type, just like you would edit the walls or anything else, you edit the structure, and then I gave it a wood planks material. So I went and got wood planks. I made the background this brownish color, and then I used 8-inch parallel lines. So assuming maybe you'd use a 2x8 wood deck, and then you update this by going to the fill patterns and select model, and then make this 8-inch parallel line. You could, if you don't have that, you can duplicate it, and it'll bring up this by hitting the duplicate down here at the bottom. It'll bring up the surface patterns where you're doing a 6-inch. You just rename it to whatever line spacing you wanted. have parallel lines and then change the dimension here for the spacing of those lines. I'm just going to hit cancel. And so now I've got my deck. So if you go to open a 3D view, you can see that we have the deck now. You can see the color is a little bit different, so we can edit that type. And if you go to the wood planks or whatever material you used in the appearance category, that's what image it would use. So right now it's using this dark cherry image. So actually I'm going to change this view so that it looks closer to that. So when we're not in that realistic view, it'll be a similar color. And it doesn't have to be exact. It's just a graphical representation. The material image that we have when I created the planks will be closer. So that's pretty much it for making a deck. We could add a beam system there to throw in the joists for the deck as well, if you wanted. Right now I have the deck. I'd want it at level 1 so that it's the same level going in and out of the house that it would be. And so now I've got my wraparound deck. But right now it's kind of floating out there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some beams or some columns to support my deck. And yeah, so I'm going to actually delete something else here so we can do this later. So to make the beams for the columns for your deck, you would go to structure, column, and then you're going to load whatever column that you would want to use. So I'm going to use an 8x8 timber column. And so I loaded that from the load families and to structural columns, wood, and then timber column. And then I chose whatever column that I wanted to use. And if there isn't the exact one you want, you can just load in the family and then edit the properties to make whatever kind of column that you want. I'm going to just hit cancel because I've already loaded that. And remember, when you're placing a column, it's going to be default to depth. And so I'm going to change that to height. And I'm going to change the top to 9, the top plate, so that the columns will be the same height as the top plate. And then so that you can pick anywhere and it'll create your column. You can see it created the column. Now to compare with what I already have, let's see. Let's close some of these views. What I want to do is just kind of show you what the original, the other one that I have more finished. So I'm going to open, I must have closed it, final. So I'm going to go over here to my project browser and just open the 3D view so I can see and compare the 3D view of the two, the kind of complete version. So you can see I have columns spaced kind of throughout here. So I'm going to go back to my floor plan. And so what I did here is I placed another column. So what I wanted the kind of look of a column that's a little bit has some of these edges on it, so it looks like a you can kind of see that it's like got these notches at the corner. So how I achieved that was by going to structure, placing the column, and then I placed let's see, possibly 2x10s. I can't remember. We'll find out here in a second. And so it's going to remember the last placement that I had, height and top plate. So, and that's what we want. And then you can just place them anywhere. And let me look. Let's see. Oh, I'm stuck on the trees. So I think I might have used the 2x8. Yeah, that makes sense. Because if I have an 8x8 column, to get that that look, I I have the basically they would attach these columns to the face to kind of give a notched corner. So I'm gonna go to modify, hit align, and align these columns to the face here. Let's see, I'm also going to edit the type of this column, and I'm going to, oh, so the material isn't in these columns. You can change it, because so there's a difference between an instance parameter and a type parameter. So instance parameter, the material, some of the information would be over here that you can change it for each instance. In a type parameter, it would be a global parameter where you would change it for all of the instances. So here's just the material is a type parameter, so we'll find it here on the properties palette and not in the edit type parameter. So I'm going to try to find that same material that we use. I think it was wood planks. And so now we have that same material. And I'm actually going to, so then I can actually mirror this across to get all the sides. Go to modify, modify, and then it can mirror by an axis or mirror by picking an axis. So I'm going to mirror by picking an axis. I'm going to use the axis of this wood stud, and then I'm going to select both of them, mirror axis. I'm going to draw the axis. So what I'm going to do is draw one down the center, diagonally across through the center to get this column on all four sides. The next thing I'm going to do, so that I only have to do this once, is I'm going to, first before I do that, I'm going to grab this column in the center. I'm going to give it a -1 foot base offset so that it sticks below the deck. Oops, I give it a -2 foot offset actually, so that it sticks below the deck and it will support the deck out here. So I'm going to select, in the plan view, I can window over these 5 elements, make sure there's 5, and then I'm going to create a group. So to create a group, whatever instances you select, you'll come up here to create group on the modify tab, and just pick create group, and I'm going to call it porch column. And it's saying that I've already made this, so I'm just going to make porch column 2. And so now it's like a block in AutoCAD. And I'm going to align it to the edge of this deck. So I'm going to hit align up here on the modify tab, hit the edge of the deck, and align it with the edge here. And then I'm just going to copy this around and place it, where I need to place it. So I can hit CO or press copy on the modify tab. To do multiple instances, you can check this multiple box before you start to copy, then you can copy this thing around. Okay, so that's pretty much it for creating columns. I'm going to actually right click, select all instances, visible in view, and I'm going to delete them. And I'm going to come over here to my one that's already finished. I'm going to go to my top view. I'm going to right click, select all instances, visible in view, Control C, or right click and hit copy. Nope, that doesn't work. Go up here to, let's see, where's copy? Right here, copy. So Control C to copy, or you can press copy up here on the left on the modify tab. And now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to paste align to current view. And it's going to paste the columns that I already did. So I don't have to go around. You don't have to watch me placing all these columns. All right, so that's how I got the columns in. And so I use those to create this roof out here. And I think for some of you, we've done that together to fix your roofs. Get these columns out here is kind of like your wall boundary. So the next thing let's do is add the rail. So I'm going to add a railing around this. I'm going to put a stair here and here at the front and the back of the house. But first I'm going to add the railing, and I can come up here to the architecture tab and then select sketch path, and it will allow you to draw in, and we can pick line up here. And I'm going to go from the center and the face of this wood plank column that I made and to the face of the finished wall there. Now, you can't draw multiple lines when you're placing a rail. It wants you to do a continuous line. So if I were to hit OK, it's going to say there must be a single connected line sketch. So we'll have to place each of these individually between the columns. And if I pan around here, you can see my railing. Yeah, so that's pretty easy. Once you select the railing, you can change the railing type up here. So if there's a different type of railing that you want, if you select the railing, you can change the family type. And so I just want the typical rectangular handrail. Also, if you want to make your own, you would hit edit type, duplicate, and then there's a lot of different options for you to change the kind of handrail you have. So I'll just go around here, architecture tab, railing, and I'll show you. I'll just place these real quick. I'm going to leave this space blank because I want to put my stair here. And railing in the middle on the architecture tab. And one thing you could do is, if just to get the railing in, if you select the railing, hit copy, you could copy your railing around and then adjust the lines afterwards. So here I created a railing. You can see it doesn't quite extend to the next column. So I'm just going to either double click or edit path and then trim extend to the next face here. You'll kind of find whatever works for you, what the kind of is fastest. Either just creating and drawing a line every time might be faster for you. But for me, maybe copying around them and then modifying them might be faster, just so at least I have them there and all I have to do is just trim and extend. But you'll kind of find your own workflow, and I would try different things because in the business, the quicker and more accurately you can do something, the more valuable you'll be, and the faster you'll be able to get things done. As you can see, every time I can actually place these pretty quickly by just doing just drawing the lines at each location. But you'd want to just make sure and do whatever you need to do to draw them faster here. If they're the same width, you could copy them across as well, and that would be pretty quick too. So if they've got a consistent length, then you can just copy them straight across, and that would probably be the fastest. And you wouldn't have to edit it each time. So I'm just going to continue going around. I hit escape after I'm done so that I can quickly get back to the architecture tab. Because once I draw, it actually leaves it selected. And then I have to hit escape to get back out of into being able to select, or I have to hit the tab to find it. So here we go. Railing. I'm going to leave this middle spot blank again and just continue the railing right around the building. Escape, railing, click, green check. And we're almost done here. Just 3 more sections to do. Now, if this is something you were doing a lot, you'd probably want to create a command for it so that you don't have to select railing each time. And I'm just going to copy this one because I think these 2 segments are equal. So I can hit CO to copy, or come up here to copy. Pick at that end, pick at the face of the column, and then I'm going to check to see, nope, not quite equal. And so I'm going to just double click to get into the command, trim extend to the face, and there you go. So that's pretty much it for railings. They're pretty easy and pretty easy to modify. The other option for railing is like if you've already placed a stair or a ramp, you can place the railing on those surfaces so that they'll align with the slope. So the next thing we'll do here is add a stair. And actually, before we do that, no, I'll go ahead and do that now, I think. So yeah, let's just place a stair. I'm going to place just a short segment of stair here. So on the same place that we found the railing, we can find the stair. So you can select that. Base level, I'm going to leave it as level 1, but I'm going to give it a -2 feet because that's where my ground is going to start, and then I'm going to have it just go up to level 1. And then so the other things, so because we've given it that, it's gonna automatically place the risers and the tread depth based on this default information. And so if I try to draw it, it doesn't matter how long I try to draw it, it's only going to go up. It's only going to create those amount of risers because it's let's see, I'll do the stair again, because there's the rise and the run are only 6 and 11, so it's going to do the math for you basically, and it's going to go over 11 inches, up 6, over 11 inches, and it's going to do that from level -2 feet from level 1 up to level 1. So that's why we can only get that amount of stair. Alrighty, and so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the stair, and I can't remember what the width is here, but I think it's 8 feet, but you can change that here if you have the stair once you've drawn it, and you're still in the editing window. You can select it and then give it a width, and I think it is 8 feet, and that looks about right. So then I'm going to go to move. I'm going to select the center of the riser, and then kind of center it up here on the stair. So I'm going to move it again. It looks like from the tread to the center of I'm going to hit DI for dimension and just check this out. And so yeah, 8 feet. So, and that's it. It's pretty easy to make stairs. I'm going to pan around to show you the stair. It's automatically going to add the railing. You can select this to also change some of the information here to change your stair. Also, you can go to edit type to change some of the this information here. So here's the run type, the depth, calculation rules, how you want it to calculate the rise and run, some of the stringer information. So you can kind of play around with these settings to try to get the stair to look like you want to. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm happy with the stair like it is. What else? I'm going to edit the material probably, if I can find it here, just so it looks like it's wood. I'm going to have to go in to edit the stairs to get the material to apply. Let's see here. I'm not seeing the material option here. Let's just select these and see if there's a material option. There's not that I'm seeing. Looks like this is the same window that opens up. I'm going to go check out my families on the project browser and look for stairs and stringer, stair. I'm just going to go to the type properties of that stair. Yeah, so here we go. So it's using this stair information. So if we go to the stair and let's look at what it's using, it is using the non-monolithic landing, and we could change the information for that over here. Oh, that's the landing. So we would have to change the information there. For stair, let's look. Function interior. I'm going to set that to exterior because it is an exterior stair. Stringer closed. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the what's controlling this, what the actual stair is. I think it's just actually going to be stair tread. I'm going to go to this type properties and I'm going to change these to wood and see if this will match. I'm going to change the same wood plank. Wood plank and wood plank. And that didn't seem to do anything. So that just means I changed the wrong values. So non-monolithic run, I think maybe that's the one. Simple stair. Oops, yeah, I think I just adjusted the wrong one. Oh, so I think that's where we find that information. As you can see, I don't do stairs a ton. So if we go to edit type and edit these to be our wood planks, that should give us our correct material. With the green check to see, and yeah, that did it. Sorry about that, but I imagine that's probably what you're doing a lot of the times, is kind of looking at things and trying to figure out how to change the different materials. So what I'm going to do is going to copy these to the back because I won't want the same ones to the back. And so I am out of the command and copying them directly in the floor plan. I can come over here, hit rotate on the modified tab, pick anywhere to get into the start rotating, and then hit 180 to rotate them 180 degrees. We can go to our back view to see that. And yes, they are rotated 180 degrees. I'm going to select them with the left select, move, get the, what is it, the inside of the tread aligned here, and hit DI to get a dimension, just to make sure. And I move them over slightly. To get them all lined up there. So there I got stairs. On the interior, I did the same thing with this stair, except that I went to architecture. Oops, not really. Stair, and I picked level 1 to top plate. And again, because it's controlled by these parameters, it's going to automatically determine the number of risers you need, and then bam, I've got a stair. So I'm going to delete that. So let's see the next thing. Oh yes, to get the I think somebody had mentioned that they did not have, all of this is exposed. We showed kind of how we created this garage foundation in the previous video, but I'll show you how I created this wall type to cover up the the exposed joists here where the deck does not cover them up. So what I did is a plan, and I believe I just copied this wall over, so I have the same wall type. I selected it, edit type, duplicated it, and I called it, what did I call it? So I called it exterior deck skirt with lap siding. So I just duplicated that. Yep. I think when I copied that wall over, it had left the door in there. So I was saying just deleting it because it's too small to show now. So what I did here is I edited the type. And let me do that again here for you. So I'm going to copy over this wall. Or actually, too, I can just select this wall, right click so I don't have to copy, and create similar, and just draw the wall here. So I can go to edit type, duplicate. What did I call it? I called it deck skirt with lap siding. So I'm just going to copy this name so so I don't have to remember what I named it. So I'm going to duplicate. Then I went over here into the edit the structure. I deleted the finish layers because I don't need those layers. Oops. That's not delete. That's delete. I'm going to change this core boundary for the structure. I'm going to make that plywood. Because what I want is I just want the plywood and the siding layers. So I can delete this, other layers, and now all I've got is a wall that's 1/2 inch thick for the plywood and then the siding. So I can hit OK. Got my new wall. Now the next thing that we can do here is I want to see, because I don't want it to be that tall. I just want it to be the height of what I need to cover up. And so I want it to match all that. So I'm going to open this section, and I can see the new wall I created, and I can actually, I'm going to give it a base offset of -2 feet. That'll be too far, but that's okay. And change the top offset to zero to level 1 and make a 0. So then now it's just like going to create this wall just below level 1, and I'm going to do -1 foot. And then now I've got my little wall that's going to cover up this um, exposed joist. Okay, so I can't see it here because my view depth. So I'm going to go my view range over here on my floor plan, and I'm just going to give it a -1 foot, -1 foot, so I can see this little wall that I created below. I'm going to right click on the end of this and disallow join, just so it doesn't join it with this wall here. It can create some funkiness. And I'm going to go in my 3D view. I'm going to hit trim extend to this face and grab that face of the wall. And I'm going to hit align. And we can actually do that in this section view that I created here. Go hit align. Select the face of this, the header joist, and then align the back of that wall to that header joist. I'm going to move this 3D view down here so I can see it. And then to align, so right now you can see that the siding is not aligned. We can go to just hidden line, and then I've got the little detail lines. I'm going to align that line with this line on the siding so my siding matches up. I'm going to go back to the realistic view to show you how it works. Then I'm going to join. So up here at the Modify tab, we'll join geometry. I'm going to pick this wall and this wall, this wall and this wall, and then this wall and this wall beyond to kind of make it look seamless so you can't tell. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select this little piece of wall in this 3D view or the section view, and I'm going to right click, create similar, and then I'm just going to change to, okay, it's finished fixed exterior, so I'm just going to draw. I can see that it's putting the exterior, you see the little dashed blue line is? So that's the exterior side, but I want it on the right side of this view. So I'm just going to draw this all around, not really worrying about getting it close because I'm going to align. So this is how I'm going to get the little skirt to go around the deck. And at the end here, I'm just going to right click, disallow join on this last little wall segment. To align it to the deck, I think what I'm gonna do is, for the deck it's pretty easy. I think I can just hit align and align it right to the face of the deck. Because in reality, that's what it would be doing. So I'm gonna pan around here to the other side and just align right to the face of the deck. So we can just walk around the building perimeter and hit align. And the last side here. And then what I'll do here for the last little bit, because I can't see it because it's underneath this wall, so I can kind of hit tab to try to grab it, but instead of trying to guess at it, I'm going to pan around to my 3D view, and I'm going to trim corner here. So I'm going to come up here, trim extend corner. I'm going to grab the wall that is on the house, and then grab the siding on around the rest here. And yeah, I'll need to fix some of this site. It's up into my stair, which is not good. That's okay. It should be pretty quick and easy to fix that. What I'm going to do to fix that real quick, I'm going to edit surface, place point. I'm going to give it a -2 and kind of come around here and just, ooh, I don't like that. Let's see. I'm going to do this in the plan view so I can see a little bit better. Place point. Give it a -2 there. -2 there. -2 there. And you can see as I go around, it's fixing the site. I'm just going to go through and add the -2 points around the deck here. Let me open up my site plan viewing and structural plan. No, I want site plan. So I'm going to turn off. I'm going to go to the visibility graphics, turn off roofs and floors so I can see. And I'll edit my surface again. Hopefully be able to see the points a little bit better as I'm placing them. Yeah, I can see some of these rogue points out here. I'm going to exit out of here. I'm going to turn off structural framing and walls as well in my visibility graphics. Walls, structural framing. So let's see. It's not as helpful. Yeah, I think that'll be good. What I'll do here is then use an underlay of level 1. I'll leave walls on so I can see my perimeter. I'll edit that surface. You can see some of the points that I was placing and how they affected the site here. I'm just going to move them to kind of the around. So this is creating that little dip there. And so I'm just going to move some of these. And I'm going to copy some of these over. I've got a little dip in there. I don't really like. I'm going to try to fix by adding some more points. So let's see here. Meh, I still don't like it, but that's okay. I can go around and fix that later. I'm not super concerned about that. It's just adding enough points. Ugh, I don't like that stair stringer. Let's edit that type. See if we can edit that stair stringer type. So let's double click to get in here. Select it. Is there the stringer? Escape out of here. Try to just grab. I'm gonna tab in here and see if I can just. So I did. I was able to just select the. So it comes as one element, but I was able to hover over, hit tab, select the stringer, edit type, and I'm gonna change the stringer to that wood plank. And all of these don't matter, whatever colors you want. You could just leave it plain if you'd like. And now it's just updating that wood stringer. And so there we go. We got stairs. We got our wood, our skirting around the we got our skirting around the building. Having exposed concrete is fine down here. I would likely leave it like that. Let's just trim extend. Modify tab. Just going to finish this off by extending this to that face. How it lines up with that level. I'm also going to, let's change this back to hidden line. I'm going to align this the kind of the line of our by tabbing and hitting the line of our lap siding. I'm gonna kind of do that all the way around so everything lines up nicely with the house. Just tab a couple times to actually get the line I want to align to, and align. Tab twice, align. Sometimes I like to do these things in 3D view. It's easier just to zoom around than to go to like an exterior elevation and do that. I'm going to tab twice, align, and look at that. It all lines up pretty nicely. I think that is it. I think that's all we were doing for this kind of getting it cut up to where I am. As far as, you know, if you have a deck or have your joists are exposed, then that'll get you pretty close to where I'm at. And if there's anything that I did that I didn't really demonstrate, just let me know, and I'll throw up another video, or we can even do a go-to meeting. So yeah, just let me know. All right, that's it for this video. Thank you.